how do we actually welcome change? And another question which I think ties in that came from a listener was, how do you actually embrace that initial part after change, which is really uncomfortable and difficult? So it's kind of like, how do you prepare for change to happen? And then how do you actually stick with it once it's kicked in?
When a change comes into your life that blindsides you in some way, or you never saw it coming, at the very beginning, it's so important for you to pause and not react immediately. And if you did react, because I know many people listening are going to be like, well, that ship has sailed, I've already reacted. You need to have compassion with yourself. There's a reason that you reacted as quickly as you did. Maybe it's that you care too much, or maybe it's that you genuinely don't know how to live with this new reality. And so there's a part of you that's fighting to protect you and to reject this change. And I'm not going to tell you, you need to open your arms wide for every change that life brings your way, because sometimes life takes away people we love, and sometimes it takes away our dreams, and sometimes it crushes our hopes for what our life should be in our eyes. Welcoming change and embracing change isn't about getting to a point where you say, I'm 100% okay with this. It's about getting to a point where you say, even though I might not be okay with this, I accept it. And I accept it not as in I am okay with it. I accept it as in I can see clearly that this is part of my new reality. I'm not going to constantly live in fighting mode with this new reality and saying, I didn't deserve this. That person shouldn't have blindsided me in that way. I should have been in that program, and it's just not fair. Life isn't fair, because when you live in that state, even though it is protective, because there's a part of you that's like, if we were to accept this, then we actually have to sit with the pain of it.
And it feels like defeat.
Yes.
As well.
So as long as you're fighting, you feel strong, but it's exhausting to fight with what actually is. It's exhausting, yes, to sit with yourself and say, wow, like this is really happening. And I really, really don't want it. And I really, really don't ever want to make peace with it. But there is absolutely nothing I can do. Like, it's out of my control. There is a power in doing that, because that, you know, when you're fighting, it feels like you're constantly dragging something with you. You're dragging that fight. And so when you finally, it is really heavy. So when you finally say, I see it for what it is, like, this is now part of my new reality, and the only control I have is to either say, I am now a changed person. My life is now a different version of what it used to be, and I'm going to have to learn how to live with it. It's like you've let go of that weight that you're taking with you everywhere. You've let go of the responsibility of trying to change the unchangeable. And it, in a way, when you stop dragging something behind you, you also start moving faster towards a new reality. So one thing I talk about in The Only Constant is how it's important to be resilient. Like, that helps us with change. But there's this misconception that resilience is being able to get back to where you were. So if you were here and something in your life changed, your resilience means being able to get back to where you were. That's not how I see resilience. I see resilience as the ability to not snap back to where you were, but to snap forward into a life that actually encompasses the way that your life changed. So when we talk about grief, for example, you lost someone you love in any way. It could be to a death, it could be to a breakup, to a divorce, whatever it is. You think that healing means going back to the person you were before that, but that's not what healing is. Healing is taking in this new loss and this new willingness to feel the pain of their absence and to miss them and to go back to the memories of them and to grieve the future you thought you had with them, and to see all of that as part of your new reality. There's no such thing as leaving it in the past and saying, I'm good as long as I don't think about this. Well, you're not good as long as you don't think about this, because it is part of your life. You are just Xing it out and saying, I don't want this. But it is part of your life. So understand that shaming yourself isn't going to help. So like sitting there and being like, well, something must be wrong with me for not being able to feel this pain. No, the reason we shut pain out is to protect ourselves from what it tells us about ourselves. It's to protect ourselves from opening the can of worms of all the other pains in our life that we didn't resolve. And so we want to tuck it away. So when you find yourself in a position where you're having a hard time accepting this change, you're having a hard time accepting this new reality, look at yourself in the mirror and say, this is hard. This is really tough to go through. And that's why I'm struggling this much with it. It's only human to struggle in that way. If losing someone or losing a dream or losing a hope that you had, losing a job, if it didn't affect you at all, then it means it never meant anything to you. But the fact that it is affecting you in this way and you are having such a hard time accepting this new change, it means that you actually invested in it in some way. And that's beautiful. That's what adds to our definition of who we are. That's what adds to the value of the life that we lived. So as hard as it is to say, I'm in pain because I actually loved, because I actually invested in this, because I actually believed in this, that is truly what makes you the person that you are. So be proud of that. Be proud of the struggle that you're having, because it means you worked for something.